Hello, my name is Elizabeth, and I teach English pronunciation. I also coach for IELTS, especially the writing, tasks 1 and 2, and I teach general English. As you can see, I'm quite elderly, and so my accent is probably classic RP, but it's not a terribly posh RP, but it is RP. It's nice and clear, I think. People used to come and say, oh, they could understand me when I talked, though I talk rather quickly, and I have to remember to quieten down a little. One of the things I found my students have problems with, and it doesn't matter whether they come from Russia or Hungary or even Sweden, is the difference between v and w. I always think of the v as being a tooth, okay, a sort of fang that comes down and bites the inside of the bottom lip. V. You can keep the top lip still and just say v. So the tips of your top teeth are inside your bottom lip and touch v. They're the articulators, the teeth and the bottom lip. All right, that's the v. Now the w, think of the w, the two bits of the w as being the two lips, all right? And that's when they come together, w, w. So this is the one bit and this is the other bit, w. So what you're saying is an u, and then you're very quickly turning it into an w, w. If you say it fast, you get a w sound, w. So the difference is between v and w. There's a lovely old book called Ship and Sheep, okay, and it's very good for pronunciation. So I'm going to read a few sentences from Ship and Sheep to show you the difference between v and actually the unvoiced f. So v and f are pronounced in exactly the same way, but with a v, you're turning your voice on, you're getting a kind of vibration, v. And with f, it's just fricative, f, okay? So that's one, v and f. And the other sound is the w, which I've already told you about. And a lot of people have problems between the v and the w. So here's a little passage from Ship and Sheep. They give you a photograph of a kind of bussy thing arriving in a village. And then they say, this is a photograph of a fat farmer arriving at a village. Notice the idge of village, advantage, mortgage, okay, cottage, it's a shvi, it's an idge. The village is in a valley. The farmer's driving a van. Now we could say the farmer is driving a van, but when we're speaking rapidly, we're going to put the farmer and the verb is together. And we say, the farmer's driving a van. Careful with the a of van. It's an a sound in the RP accent. If you put your mouth corners a little bit apart, van, van. Don't happen to open your mouth too much, van. Notice now it's becoming more open, van, van, van. But in my accent, it's van, van, okay? The farmer's driving a van. It's the 17th of November. Again, it's the 17th of November. If I said to you, it's the 17th, the stress would be on the 10th. But as I'm adding a little bit, I put the stress on the stress migrates to November. It's the 17th of November. Notice November ends in an sound. That's called the schwa sound. It doesn't end in an r sound unless you're American, because American is rhotic, but standard British English is non-rhotic. So you don't pronounce the r at the end of words or just before a consonant. It's a fine day, but it's very cold. So for those of you who tend to say, it is a fine day, we don't. We say, it's a fine day, but it's very cold. We don't say a, we have a little schwa, we say a. It's a fine day, but it's very cold. Some of the leaves have fallen from the vine in the foreground of the photograph. Now leaves is a nice long e sound. If we just had a singular leaf, we have what's called clipping. So the f is unvoiced, you've got the vibration, f is unvoiced. So with an unvoiced consonant, the e sound is slightly shorter. You can hear it. Leaf, leaves, all right? Some of the leaves, and we don't say of the, we say of the nowadays. Some of the leaves have fallen from the vine in the foreground of the photograph. Notice vine in, vine in the foreground. So we make a liaison between the n of vine and the vowel of in. So n and in becomes nin, vine in. Some of the leaves have fallen from the vine in the foreground of the photograph. We don't say of, we say of the photograph. Right, so that was the V, F sound. Now let's have a W sound. Virginia in Winona having a little conversation. Virginia, I saw William again on Wednesday, Winona. Winona answers, oh, William again? Well, what happened? Virginia, we went for a lovely walk in the woods. Oh, in the wet? Wasn't it very wet on Wednesday? It was very cold and wet, but we were wearing very warm clothes, and we walked quickly to keep warm. It's that "or" sound. It's quite hard. Or you round your lips, or, and you pull your tongue back, and you get this nice long sound. Warm, warm. You can sometimes go like this. You can go make it long, and then you can close your lips. Or so you can go oh, oh, warm. Okay. But we were wearing very warm clothes and we walked quickly to keep warm. Is that the woods next to the railway? It's not very quiet. Yes, but further away from the railway it was very quiet. And there were wild squirrels everywhere. We counted 20 squirrels. Now, squirrel, have you noticed my mouth? It sort of bunches up. Squid, squid. It's a hard sound. You've got to have a s, you've got to have a k, you've got to have a w. Squid, squid. And there's an I sound. Squid, rules. Squirrels, and the stress is on the squid. Squirrels. We counted 20 squirrels. Winona, 20 squirrels? So she's asking a yes-no question. Her voice goes up. Do you mean there were really 20 squirrels? 20 squirrels? And what did you do for lunch? Now that's a WH question, and usually your voice goes down with a WH question, a question beginning with what, when, where, or even how. All right? And what did you do for lunch? And the person could answer, well, we had a picnic in our bathing costumes in the river. It's very cold. What did you do for lunch? Okay, so there, it's a WH question, but you're really not sure, and you want the person you're speaking to say, yes, we really did. We fell in the river. That's how we had lunch in the river, or something like that. So normally they'd ask, and what did you do for lunch? We had it in the river. And what did you do for lunch? Okay, so 20 squirrels. And what did you do for lunch? A picnic with squirrels? Okay, that's it.